Hi, everybody. I'm Roland Pruitt, and this is the premiere of my show, which is basically devoted to Godzilla. It's called the Kaiju Review. Roland Pruitt's Kaiju Review. Catchy title, huh? I've actually invited a couple of people that I have met along, my, going around the internet, who I felt would be good co-hosts for this show. One of them is Anastasia. You have to be careful not to say Anastasia because she flips out.
Thank you.
Anastasia. And
Thank you.
the other is a professor who's into cryptozoology, but he also knows a lot about reptiles and amphibians. That's Professor Wallnutt.
Yes, yes. Very happy to be here.
What we intend to do on this show is start from the very first Toho Kaiju film, which is the one we're going to do right now, Gojira, Godzilla, the 1954 film from Japan, not the Raymond Burr version. That was 2 years later in America, but it was, again, based on the same film, but they changed it a lot. So we're doing the original Japanese film without Raymond Burr. We've colorized the timeline for you so you can actually see it in color, which is kind of cool. I know that a lot of people, who are Godzilla purists, they say, no, black and white is better. But hey, why not give you color just to give you something different? So again, when they came out with Godzilla -1 this past year or so, seems like it's been over a year, but it probably just a year. It came out in color, but they released it again in black and white so that people could see it in black and white. So that's kind of cool. You get both options. So whatever you like better, So this movie was a groundbreaker. I mean, it was probably loosely based on The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which came out a year or two earlier. The special effects by Aiji Subureya were actually he wanted to do something like this. He loved King Kong. Actually, he saw King Kong with his father when he was a kid in the movie theaters, and he always wanted to do this kind of thing. And after this film, he got to do it for several years after. So I apologize for the Band-Aid. I was shaving right before the show. I looked a little scruffy, so I shaved, and I had a pimple. And the Band-Aid is kind of loose too. It's kind of flapping, I feel. And now I'm self-conscious about it. Sorry. But I'm on blood thinners right now. So anyway, we're sorry we started late. Usual tech gremlins. Where'd my co-hosts go?
We're here. I'm still concerned about blood sinner. You never explained before show what is blood sinner, why you are on it. Are you okay?
Yeah, my
Yes.
mom's got me on baby aspirin, basically is what it is. She's worried that I'm gonna have a stroke. I don't know why, so anyway.
It's not Munchausen's.
Baron Munchausen, what? What?
Munchausen's where mothers think their children is sick, but is not sick at all. It's actually psychosis in mother.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just know Baron Munchausen, writing on the cannonball and all
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
I will text you after show and, we'll talk about it.
okay, well, the show's supposed to be about Godzilla, so let's get into it. And again, we are going to start from the very first film, Godzilla, and we're going to work all the way through the Showa series, all the way through 1975, all the movies they did, Toho Studios, that involved kaiju. So this is the first one, and there is the original Toho logo. It's colorized, but it still looks like it's, kind of tinted black and white, kind of. Anyway. That's the color program. Same here with the title. That actually spells out Godzilla. So there it is. And we are on the ocean. Nice calm night. Guys are playing music and cards and stuff on their little ship. And then a glowing light from the ocean. And so it begins. Godzilla comes up from the depths. He's been awakened. He's a giant dinosaur, and now he's radioactive too from atomic testing. And he zaps the ship with his atomic breath. And again, we don't know anything about his atomic breath just yet, but the ship goes down very quick. They send out an SOS, and that's how it all begins.
Now, how come Godzilla is sometimes female, sometimes male, How come sometimes it's male, sometimes female?
Well, maybe Professor Wallnutt could tell you something about that.
Yes, yes. Well, you see, it's an evolutionary adaptation. Sometimes, if there's a lack of male of the species, the female will then, or the other way around, uh, they're able to change sex in order to be able to propagate themselves. You see, as needed. You know, if you need more females, you need more males, and so Gojira or Godzilla, as is more popularly known. Um, you know, it can fluctuate between male and female as the situation demands. You know, and
Um,
so
Personally, we're not sure what this. I mean, there's no big, Godzilla, penis hanging down or anything, but we're not quite
no,
sure what sex this Godzilla is. Um, he's very alpha in this, so it could
yes.
be male. Um,
I believe,
that's a question. Not sure.
well, Mr. Roland, don't mean to interrupt, but I believe that this one is probably male, given the level of aggression that it displays. Also, just as a side note, the based on the scientific taxonomy, we scientists consider Godzilla to be of the species Draconis giganticus.
This is very interesting to me. Okay, so in the
I've heard
movie,
people say he's kind of a cross between a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is very aggressive, and a Stegosaurus because of the spines on his back.
Yeah, so definitely different elements of the early crustacean creatures. Yes, that's certainly a possibility. Yes, quite right. Hmm.
interesting. Okay, thank you very much. This is very enlightening.
So we go to Hideto Ogata's room. They call him because he has something to do with these fishing ships. And in the room, this is not in the American version. Oh my gosh, it's Amiko Yamane. So there already is a thing going on
Hmm.
between Ogata and Yamane. Why would she be in his room like that? Wow.
Yes,
And obviously he's not dressed for success right now.
he's,
So
he's he's very sweaty.
obviously, yeah, we get a preview. This whole movie is actually a love triangle. Uh,
Ah,
and that makes it a lot successful too because there is a love story here,
hmm.
and she is caught between two guys. The one that her father respects and wants her to marry, and the one that she loves and wants to be with, and that's Ogata. But he's just a guy that works for the fishing companies, the boats.
But he has Kavorka. That lure of the Kavorka, this
Oh, ah.
pheromone that speaks to her on biological level. So
It's
you
a
can see that, yes, this professor can speak to that chemistry, that native
ah.
chemistry to body is very primal, and that will be much more important than her logic center telling her to obey daddy.
Well,
I'm sure there's
we'll
medicine.
talk
I'm
more
sure there's
about that
medicine
as,
for that.
as we go through. Ogata is played by Akira Takarada, who is a very manly and sensual Japanese leading man.
I can see that he's very Marlon Brando.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that Dr. Walnut was saying something.
Yes, doctor.
Was I? Oh,
You said
no,
they
no.
have medicine for this one.
You, yes, you're talking about the chemistry and all that, and then I said, well, I'm sure there's medication for that. So
All right. Well,
Sometimes called lobotomy. In
wait,
Soviet regime, we used to lobotomize one who fall in love because it's very, it's considered malady of the mind in Soviet
wait till you
culture.
see the third part of this love triangle. Anyway, uh, and I'm not demeaning the man in any way. He is the hero of this film, for crying out loud. But
But he has no kavorka.
But as far as his women's skills are concerned, yeah, wait till you see his first date. Anyway, she's played by
oh dear.
Amiko Yamane is played by Momoko Kochi. And she's very lovely. And okay, here's the guys flipping out. Hey, what happened? Why did this ship go down? How are we going to explain to these families? about this. I'm going to rip this damn thing off because it's driving me nuts. And if I bleed, I bleed. We'll have it
You're
on tape.
very brave, Roland. You're very brave to do
We'll have it
so.
on tape for the insurance
Very,
company.
yes.
All
Very
right,
brave
next
of you.
line.
You can do it, Roland.
You can do it.
You can do it, Nadia.
This poor little guy, this is all he gets to do in the film. He comes in, he complains, and then that's it. You don't see him much.
I wonder how. But
And it happens again.
At least he had craft services, so it's okay.
It happens again. Another ship goes into the area and goes down. And again, the wives are coming in going, hey, what the hell happened to my husband? And the guy's like, hey, you don't know. Sorry. We're still up in arms about it ourselves. We don't know what's going on.
It's not easy to replace husband, and paycheck.
No,
So
it's
they
understood.
need their paycheck.
It's understood. So big headlines. They read down instead of from left to right. They read down. Big headlines.
Yeah.
That's Japanese. I don't know how to read it. Sorry. So they find some survivors from the last ship, but they don't last long because they die of radiation poisoning and burns. So they don't know what the hell's going on, but it's close to an island. And the news reporters go into the island to see if they can find out from this fishing village any more information about this second boat that went in. And the villagers are like, okay, well, we can tell you this, we can tell you this, but we really don't know that much ourselves. They didn't last very long. They said there was a monster. Yeah, that was one thing they got from the guys before they died, was there was a monster. Now, the guy no, go ahead, go to the next slide. It's okay. The guy on the right is a news reporter, and he is replaced in the American version by Raymond Burr.
Yes, you see that's what
Poor guy
I was
completely cut out of the film.
I was a bit confused because I was wondering, well, where's the reporter that went on to become a comedian? Steve somebody.
Well, this is Sachio Sakai. He's in a lot of the films, and he plays the reporter in this first movie. His name is Hagiwara. Try to say that 5 times fast. And,
Hagiwara. No, never mind.
Very good. Awesome. You're awesome.
He's very educated.
Newspaper reporter in this. Actually, there's several newspaper reporters in this, and Raymond Burr kind of becomes all of them in his version.
That's so typically American. Coming in, taking over.
So, well, they wanted to put an American in it to make it more appealing to American audiences, and he was becoming famous on TV as Perry Mason at the time, and so they let him play the reporter in the American version. Anyway, and I get that. I mean, but they did change a lot of the movie because of that. So here we have the village is having a ceremony where they're trying to excise the evil spirit, the monster, and one of the old guys says to the reporter, Gojira. That's the name of the evil monster that they've named that this monster is that's attacking these boats, Gojira. So it doesn't work. Because the minute the lights go down, the fires start up in the little fire pyres there. The winds start kicking into gear. They have a little typhoon come in, and this young guy named Yamada, Shinkichi Chamada, played by, oh my God, Toyoki Suzuki. There we go. I'm trying my best to read my notes here. He runs out of the house because something's going on outside the house, and he realizes it. He leaves his mom and dad in the house, and then something completely mows down the house.
Oh my goodness.
This is terrifying. This is very terrifying.
Yeah, there's his father there. His father looks out the window and sees a giant monster. He's played by Ren Yamamoto, who is in, again, a lot of these Toho Kaiju films later, including War of the Gargantuas, where he plays a boat captain. And that's probably his biggest role. And he's done a lot. He was on Ultraman and all those other shows. Q. Anyway, yeah. So he's got that one big scream scene. And then the son freaks out. and he's being held back, and we see a picture of the news reporter helicopter is crushed and blown in the wind.
Mm.
So, meanwhile, back in Japan, well, that's a very recognizable building. It's in a lot of the kaiju films. It's the actual Tokyo. It's like the big courthouse, big building for politics. So you see it in a lot of the films.
Being like City Hall.
Yeah, kind of. Except bigger.
I see.
So
Yes.
they have this big, like, it looks like a courtroom scene, but it's just them kind of reporting on what happened on the island. And you see the young boy who now this is Dr. Yamane, played by legendary character actor Takashi Shimura, who does a lot of the sword pictures with, well, actually just, oh shit. I'm having a mind break part now.
Oh, you mean that Akira Kurosawa fella?
Kurosawa, yeah, he was in a lot of Kurosawa films.
Yes,
He's a wonderful actor, and again, here
Yes,
you
he
just
is.
believe him 100%. He's a professor, and he wants nothing more than to study Godzilla, and they all just want to kill it. And so he is Dr. Yamane. He actually takes the orphan boy because his parents were killed and adopts him. And there's the newspaper reporter in the bottom middle there. He's telling his side of the story. And if you look carefully behind Dr. Yamane there, you will see Ogata and his daughter sitting in behind him, and they're sitting together. So again, there's a lot of the director, Ishiro Honda, definitely wanted you to get that these two are an item early on. But again, in the English version, they waited a long time before they told the audience, hey, these two guys are an item, and they waited a lot longer. Anyway, so now they're going back to the island, this time not by helicopter, but by ship. And everybody's waving to the crowd and there in the crowd is our hero, Dr. Daisuke Serizawa. He's got an eye patch. Looks like he's wearing sunglasses there, but he's got an eye patch on his right eye. Evidently had a little accident in the laboratory. Very famous scientist. And he's working on weapons. Maybe inadvertently. Maybe he doesn't want people to know that. But she's waving to him because her father really respects him, and her father's kind of trying to push Serizawa on her. Hey, this is a great guy. He'd be a great husband, And then Ogata is like, hey, I really, can't hold my tongue. I know, I like you and all. And so she's very upset because, he's like, hey, I don't like this Serizawa thing. And I'm hoping that, you stay with me. And there it is. Isn't that beautiful?
Lovely.
Yeah. So they get to the island and, they start going through the wreckage of something that, walked through here or blew through here. And there's another professor there, Tanabe, who his big thing is radiation. He's checking for radiation. I guess because of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and all that. I mean, they got to check everything for radiation around that.
Oh, yes.
And he's got the Geiger counter, and man, the thing is off the chart. Yeah, he's like, yeah, something very radioactive came through here. And then Dr. Yamane, with his daughter in tow, finds an amazing fossil. In what they don't realize is a footprint. It's a big hole, but they don't realize it's a footprint. And he finds this fossil of this creature that lived millions of years ago.
Yes, it's a trilobite.
Very cool. And then they start ringing the bell, the warning bell, something's coming. So they all go running. You see the news reporter running up the hill there. They all go running to the top of the hill to see what's coming. And it's Godzilla. And luckily, Yamane had his camera out and ready. And there's the young boy. Again, if you watch carefully, you'll see this young boy is with Yamane the whole time for the rest of this film. And that's a Godzilla puppet. They use a Godzilla puppet a lot in this, actually. And it scares the hell out of Emiko.
Yes, one would expect that. Yes, yes. It's quite frightening. It's frightening looking puppet.
Ogata is right there.
Of course.
Don't worry, baby. I got you. He's got her. He's going to be there to protect her.
Suddenly he's Japanese Elvis.
Again, this got cut out of the English version, showing, and they showed Raymond Burr hugging the Japanese assistant that he had in the film, which is ironic because, you know, Raymond Burr, you know, had an interesting lifestyle. So, just ironic. I'm not saying it was wrong. So they go over the hill to chase after the thing, and it's already stomped its way back down to the beach and into the water. With its tail dragging behind him. Now, originally, and there are pictures of this, you can find them online. When Godzilla's head popped over the top of the mountain, he had a cow in his mouth, and they just thought they didn't look right, so they cut that. So they got this instead. And this is funny. This is supposed to be a picture that Dr. Yamane took, but obviously it's artwork. Anyway, that's just me. I'm just calling, you know, artwork for the sake of artwork. So he's showing a big slide presentation back home, and he explains, you know, Godzilla and what it could be, and what was it you said that the other thing was?
Trilobite.
The trilobite. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Wallnutt. Where's Anastasia?
Yes. What happened to our
I'm right here. I'm this right here. Don't worry. Don't worry about Anastasia. She's here with Sandy D, who just say hello, Sandy. Thank you.
Hola. I think this. By the way, I bought this shirt just for this show. This is Godzilla's mugshot.
The mugshot?
Yes. It says
Was he arrested for something like Donald Trump? Did he do 4D something felony?
You know, Donald Trump's headshot is not as cool as this. I'm sorry. It's, you know,
I hate to imagine.
Department.
I hate to imagine the size of the handcuffs that were required.
Very big, but we know from King Kong, you know, how you can arrest some big.
You know,
monster.
it's terrible. As if they came out with a King Kong shirt like this, I would buy it. You know. So this is like the head of the Women's League or something, but there is something up this woman's butt. I mean, look at her.
She's incensed. She's had enough of dealing with these men all day long. She's tired of it.
She's got all these guys whipped. Look at them. They look so embarrassed.
She's tired. She's just.
I'm telling you right now, she's doing the head bob.
Yes.
She is seriously.
I can see her doing a lot of this.
Yes.
She has better things to be doing with her times than dealing with these guys.
You have made all lose face.
Yes.
So, I just thought I'd point that out. That was pretty funny to me. So they decide they're gonna depth charge. If he's in the waters in between this island and Tokyo, we're gonna depth charge. And they're watching on TV, and Dr. Yamane doesn't seem happy about it. And he goes into his room, into his study, and you know, Emiko comes in. Dad, what's wrong? And he's like, they should study him. They shouldn't kill him. And right after that, you know, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, yes. He's sitting there thinking, you know, I could have made another Kurosawa film, but no, here I
am. Why did I sign on to this?
Dealing with giant puppets.
But hey, you know, it's the most famous character he ever played. You know, probably next to Seven Samurai.
That's true. No, I'm sure he was quite pleased.
So Godzilla comes up and scares the hell out of a bunch of people that are drinking on a ship. For some reason, he doesn't destroy it. It gets away. He just goes back down into the ocean. But it shows that the depth charge didn't work. He's still alive. And it's probably moved him closer to Tokyo. So that's not good. So now they have to, you know, put a military garrison on the border around Tokyo, so that this thing, if he comes out of the bay, they got to be ready for him.
Thank you, Sandy, for tagging people to come in. It's very nice of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
much appreciated.
We
Yes,
appreciate you, Sandy,
yes, the more the merrier.
So they
very
have a
much.
meeting with Dr. Yamane, and again, he doesn't want to say that he's happy, but it's still alive, and that makes him happy, I think. Then the news reporter goes to see Dr. Yamane, and he talks to Emiko, and Ogata's there.
I thought this
He's
guy
hanging.
was Joey Tribbiani from Friends. He looked like at for 1 second, I thought it was Joey.
Okay,
You see if it's the hair and the hey, how you doing? It's like he's gonna say how you doing.
okay,
Hey,
and
how
Japanese
you
Joey,
doing?
got it.
How you doing? He looks very Tribbiani to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry. All Americans look alike to me sometimes, but it's okay.
Yes,
Um,
yes, they'll. Yes.
Emiko
They
says, "Hey,
do, yes.
you guys might want to talk to Dr. Sarazawa. He might have something that he can show you that might help to get rid of this Godzilla. So they get on Ogata's bike. Ogata's got a bike too. No wonder she
Mm.
goes for the bad boy.
Oh yeah.
He's got a bike. So they go see Dr. Sarazawa, and Sarazawa's like, "Nah, I can't help you. I got nothing." Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, all right, thanks," and he leaves. And Emiko is asked to stay behind.
You see, Dennis the Flumery agree. He said he can see that, but remember, no one touches Joey's food.
No one touches
Exactly. You
Joey's
see,
food.
he can see that. You
This is
see,
Godzilla.
Anastasia is very astute with my facial recognition and analysis.
This is not Friends. It's Godzilla.
But they should do a Godzilla version of Friends, and everybody will watch it. It'll be hilarious. I would love that.
Uh,
You see,
I'm thinking maybe I would in my choice of co-hosts.
that would
Anyway,
be fun.
um,
You love us, Roland. You love us. You love us.
so
I, Dr.
Sarazawa takes
Yes,
Surazawa.
Professor.
Emiko into the lab.
Wait,
Oh,
Professor is talking. Professor is talking.
all right.
No, no. I was going to just blah blah blah. I was just going to comment that Surazawa reminds me of Spike from Cowboy Bebop. That's
Okay. So, all right. Let's keep focus. Focus.
But then
oh
Sandy
what?
said it's like
Talk about
Joey's
it.
dating life is same as Godzilla.
Okay,
It's
put a big
true.
picture on
Very
me.
true.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to show you. This is the original Godzilla 54. Put the big picture on me. There we go.
Car
Yeah.
54, where are you?
54. Yeah, Godzilla the original.
Lovely. Yes.
This is the new Neko remake. And I will be selling these after each show. When I show you the action figure from my shelf action figure, I will be selling these. So look on eBay. So
What is your eBay, Roland? What is your handle for eBay?
I can't even remember. I think
We
it's
will
open.
find it out. We will find it out.
We'll put it in the credits or something after the show's aired. So he takes her down to the lab. This is Sarazawa's idea of a first date, I think. Now that you brought somebody here that I didn't want to talk to, let's have a date. I want to show you something. And she's like, "Oh, look, you have a fish tank. You like fish?" He's like, "Well, yeah, maybe."
This is major creeper. Here, how
So
come the fathers always want mothers to be with creepers? It's weird.
the father's not here right now, so this is why. Emiko maybe has the creeps around Sarazawa. Anyway, so he drops a little pill, little effervescent pill, into the tank, and it horrifies Emiko because the fish are disintegrated in the tank. They disintegrate to bones and then to nothing. The bones even disintegrate.
You know, this is exactly like one of P. Diddy's parties. It's exactly. It's like it's crazy.
And he's like, "Yes, that's it. Hug Sarazawa, baby. I'm here." So he comes out, and let me tell you something. See that window behind him? It would be so easy to write a script where some people come into that window and steal his ideas before he burns the notes. Anyway, I'm just saying. It would be so easy to sneak into that lab. But anyway, he's like, "So that was a good first date, right?" And she's like, "I don't want to talk about it." And she goes home.
We've all been there,
Ogata's
girlfriend. We've all been there.
Yamada's there, Ogata's there, and they're like, "Hey, what happened at Sarazawa?" I don't want to talk about it. And it just so happens that night Godzilla attacks Tokyo for the first time. And he comes out of the water.
The comment section is totally crazy. I love it. I love the comments right now.
Come on, that's not a good first date. I'm sorry. If you want to show a girl how you can disintegrate all your fish in your fish tank, yeah, it's probably not going to go over well.
So
Yeah.
Sor Parker is asking about color photos. Yes, so at the beginning of show, Roland explained why this is colorized. You can get both, right, Roland?
Yeah, well, I decided to colorize it so you'd have, the colorized version. And I used a program called Colorize to colorize the photos. It's very painstaking. It takes a long time, and I just did it so you'd have it in color. You can watch the original in black and white if that's what you prefer. That's your choice.
Absolutely, yes. And now we have all the PDD things that we are talking about.
Yeah, I got a feeling
Yes.
P. Diddy, and that's going to be old news in about 2 weeks.
Yes. Okay, but Sor Parker wants to say, "Looks awesome. Thanks for sharing them. He appreciate you, Roland."
So you're very welcome. And here's a train, and this establishes that Godzilla really doesn't like trains. Maybe with a little sauce on top, but for the most part, yeah, he's not a big train fan.
Yep.
He's not a big ship fan either. He likes to sink ships as well.
Yeah.
So not good with transportation. The Department of Transportation does not like Godzilla. Does not like Gojira. So Yamane and his crew get there. There's Ogata. There's Yamane. Yamada. And they're all watching Godzilla, go back into the bay. He's like, "Well, that was fun," and he leaves. And so the military jumps into action. There's tanks going into play. There's planes going into play. And again, this sets the precedent for all the kaiju films after this. There's the obligatory, "Hey, let's get everybody out of this berg. Let's evacuate" scene. And there's one soldier in blue pants there. He was out of regulation pants. That's the colorization program. I'm sorry. Sometimes it does shit like that. I'm sorry. Oh, I should have said that. Can we believe that? And they're setting up a perimeter, an electric fence perimeter around Tokyo. And in this scene on the right, if you look carefully, you'll see the director is one of the guys in the film, is in this scene, and the guy that plays Godzilla, the main guy that plays Godzilla, I should say, Haru Nakajima, he's also in that scene. I don't know what the hell. I guess Fruit Punch. I've been drinking Fruit Punch. So here we have a dinner scene where they're talking about Godzilla and what they should do with him. And Ogata says, "I'm glad they're going to kill him. He's a menace. He's destroying the city." And oh my God, that does not go over with Dr. Yamane very well at all. And he puts it in his place. Goes, "Oh, you should study him." And there it is. So he's embarrassed his girlfriend. Sorry, honey.
Yeah,
definitely. That is definitely a Japanese look that says, "Sorry, honey."
It definitely looks, yeah.
Doesn't do himself any favors. So Godzilla comes out of the bay again the next night. He's like, "Hey, I got my new stomping ground set. This is going to be a lot more fun tonight than it was last night. You just wait. Hold my beer." And they're shooting at him, nothing. They're shooting missiles at him, nothing. He's heading for that electronic perimeter. And the lights are on him. You can't see that too well, I'm sorry. On a phone. But on a computer, it probably looks good.
Yeah, no, it looks perfect. Yes. He's all aglow.
He's aglow.
Yes.
Yes, Professor Wallnutt. That might be Haru Nakajima. That might. Because they say that one of the guys in there. Now, the hand on the switch, that's the director. That's Honda. He did that scene. So they flip the switch, turn on the fence, and Godzilla hits the fence. That's the sound he makes. So, Godzilla has two sounds. He does that kind of high roar, and then he does the at the end. And there he goes. He's going through the fence.
Yes.
He's getting through it. I mean, it's
Yes,
not
yes.
really slowing him down all that much.
Mm.
And just to show all of these people, you have no idea what you're messing with. He's got atomic breath. So
And he said, Sandy said he's like AT&T when you try to cancel cable TV. Exactly.
Yes, I believe this may have happened earlier. I believe somebody melting some power lines
Yes.
interrupted
what affected your Wi-Fi coming in? This is one of the reasons why we're late.
I believe so. Yes.
He was
T-Mobile,
trying
damn
to
it.
prevent the television show.
Worse yet, what's the really bad one? T-Mobile's not that bad actually, but there's a really bad one out there. I better not do it anyway. I don't want to upset anybody. So yeah, now once he showed that he's got atomic breath, he's like using it all over the place. I'm gonna burn up the city. And for some reason, his spines light up when he does the atomic breath. And this is actually excised out of the American version because it was too gruesome. He actually zaps a neighborhood full of people, and you just watch them go down dead from atomic radiation.
Mm.
Godzilla puppet. They use a lot in this scene, especially when he's using his atomic breath. And those wires actually are for running cable cars. And he's fire all over the place. The fire trucks are going nuts. They're flipping over. You know, it's just insane, nuts, crazy.
Yes.
So the tanks roll in. They start shooting at him. That doesn't have any effect on him. None at all. Just bouncing right off of him. And again, he's just stomping around, just destroying everything. If there's one thing that Ishiro Honda did really well in this film that they probably didn't tackle as well in the films after, it's the total destruction and how it affects everybody in Tokyo here. So yeah, the whole place is catching fire, and the fire's really moving fast. And there are reporters watching as this is all going on from towers. Godzilla's puppet in his breath. More Godzilla puppet. Look at those little hands. Little tiny hands.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely some Tyrannosaurus in there. Got little tiny hands. Yeah, just wanton destruction. So devastating. Damn it, where's those reporters? Oh, here's where he peeps over a building, and this is a police officer. This actor just got this kind of cameo here. He looks up, freaks out, and Godzilla just fries him right next to his police car. He's just sitting there having a donut and some coffee, and here comes Godzilla. Hey, are we heating up that coffee?
See, Godzilla hates the popo as well.
He doesn't like birds for some reason. He's next to the aviary there, and he's not happy about it.
It's like freaking birds making all that noise.
There might have been a scene where he was just using his atomic breath on the bird cage, and they probably cut that out. Anyway, and now we see a very touching shot of a mother with 3 children, 3 toddlers, and she's just gripping them, holding them in close. Oh, everything's going to be all right. Oh, it's all okay, baby. Don't look. Oh, man. Just goes right for the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Godzilla at a famous tower in Tokyo. That at this point, they're just showing different places that people know in Tokyo and him destroying them. This tower is one of them. There's a big movie theater that was in Tokyo, and they showed his tail crashing into the front of that as well, which got huge roars of laughter from the theater when they showed it in Tokyo. And there it is. Look at that, will ya? Just a few minutes of Godzilla, and that's what you get. So here's a reporter who's reporting on what's going on here, and Godzilla, and showing Godzilla in the distance. And they're flashing cameras and flashing lights, and He's like, huh? Here's Godzilla walking the other direction, and then the camera's, and he goes, huh?
What's
And he
going
goes right up to the tower. Good guy, good job, guys. They're trying to record what he's doing, and he realizes, hey, are you guys taking pictures of me?
I said no pictures.
Are you guys filming me? Really? So yeah, he moves right towards them, and again past the courthouse there. And then they realize, oh, here he comes. Good, go. And here he is. He's got a pretty good stride. Gets there pretty quick. So yeah, he goes right for the tower, as you would expect. And yeah, we see the news crew say, okay, this is us signing off. Film at 11. And down they go. That's a ride you don't want to wait for.
Nope.
Disney ride. Now, see, if Tokyo Disney had been set up then, in that time, yeah, they probably would have destroyed it. Meanwhile, as all this is going on, Dr. Serizawa was watching on his TV. I guess he lives outside the city.
Yes.
And it looks like it's affecting him, but, you know, not enough to go, hey, you know what? I got something I can kill this thing with. Because he didn't say anything. And Godzilla moves to the bridge that he passed by the first night. He decides, I'm going to push right through it tonight. Oh, yeah? Well, take this. He knocks it over. And Yamane and his crew are horrified. I think Yamane realizes now, okay, Ogata, maybe you were right. Maybe we should kill this thing. He's just so damn destructive. Look at it. Look at what he's done. I didn't say all of them, part of them. So the Air Force comes in. They start shooting at him. Doesn't affect him. Bounces right off. Goes right into the drink. And that means there's going to be more Godzilla fun in the future. Doesn't faze him.
Yes.
What does that say there?
It says he really paints the town red. Literally.
Oh, yeah. Orange. He paints the town in fire.
Yes.
Indeed. And it's ironic. He's a water creature. He likes to live under the water. So okay. So here's the devastation the next day. And Dr. Tanabe is using his Geiger counter, and he's on these little kids, and it's going off the charts. They're radioactive. He's like shaking his head. They're not going to make it. Heartbreaking. Cute little kids too.
Yeah. You know, I'm since I mean this wasn't that far after World War II, after the bombing of
Yes.
of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So I'm sure to the people watching this movie, they were like, this was horror. This was real horror.
There is no doubt that Oshiro Hondo wanted to make this an allegory for that, for what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Well, that
It
picture
was
of
put in a monster form, that's all. But
yeah.
what happened?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that picture you showed earlier of the destruction. I'm sure people were like, yeah, that's what those cities looked like after the atomic bombs fell.
Correct. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's well documented. This film is definitely an allegory for that.
Oh yes, yes.
And of course, a lot of the really harsh stuff was taken out of the American version. So yeah, here's our two lovers.
I wonder why.
Here's our two lovers, Ogata and Emiko, and she finally tells him, "Hey, I got to tell you something. I went on a date with Serizawa." And then they do the flashback, and you see what happens to the fish tank. And again, the fish are disintegrated by the little effervescent pill, and just their bones, and then nothing. Okay, and we're going to talk about that later in the film too, because something happened after that kind of contradicts that. Anyway, so Ogata goes to Serizawa again, and he says, "Look, I want to see your oxygen destroyer." And Serizawa looks at Emiko like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you told him. I told you not to tell anybody. Come on, this is serious. I mean, this is a serious weapon, and if it gets in the wrong hands, and my life's in danger, and really your life's in danger." And so he's very upset. So he runs to the lab. He goes, "I can't help you." He runs to the lab, and there's a big fight. He's trying to get his papers, and there's a big fight, and Ogata gets knocked down by Serizawa. He bangs him in the head somehow. And Emiko goes to Ogata and starts to take care of him. And at this point, we see, Serizawa sees, oh my God, she's lost to me. She belongs to him. And that's where everything changes. And he says, okay, maybe I'll help you. And then he sees some people on the television, some girls, high school girls singing. And that kind of pushes him over the edge. He goes, all right, that's it. I'm going to help you. I'll let you use the oxygen destroyer to kill this thing. And I'm going to burn my notes so that nobody gets a hold of this. And I'll make one big enough for this monster, and then that's it. And there's the high school girls. So you can see in Serizawa's face that his heart is completely and totally broken. Wonderful acting and wonderful directing here. And again, I don't think we get a full sense of that in the American version either, like we do here.
No.
So he burns his notes, and Emiko goes down on her knees. She's crying. She's upset. She's caused this to happen. And she realizes, I think now, that he knows that her and Ogata are a thing. So they're on the ship. Tanabe brings his Geiger counter along, and they find Godzilla via the Geiger counter, radioactivity, which is a smart way to find him, I guess. And the two divers go down. It's going to be Serizawa and Ogata, surprisingly enough. And there's the oxygen destroyer, which is a little golden color. And they're going to go down deep sea suits. And they're going to drop this thing next to Godzilla, who's hopefully sleeping, and then get the hell out of there. Emiko and her father are on board watching the whole thing as it's happening. Also on board is a news reporter, and I'm sorry he's not in the timeline here. He's played by, give me a second. Subaru Ekatani. Subaru Ekatani, and he's a real newsman, and he is in a lot of these kaiju films as a newsman. He always plays a newsman in all of them. And you'll see him in most of them. Destroy All Monsters, this one. I think he's in Rodan. He's in most of them, and he plays a news reporter in all of them. And he's always like on television telling everybody, "Oh, the monster's coming. You need to evacuate." So that's what he does in these. But here he's actually reporting what's going on the ship. And again, the two divers going down to destroy Godzilla. So they go down. This is actually a lovely colorization. I'm very happy with the colorization of these slides here. I thought they were not going to be that good, but they actually are pretty good. It looked kind of like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which came a year earlier. Serizawa's got the oxygen destroyer in his arm, under his arm. He's got it firmly there, ready to drop it, and Godzilla's awake. Uh-oh. And he sees them. And he's like, hey, what's that? Snack? He starts heading their way. So they backtrack. And Serizawa says, Ogata, go up top right now. I'll drop the oxygen destroyer. So Ogata goes up. He's like, you don't have to tell me twice. I've already lost 5 pounds of brown. Emiko is like, oh, here's my man. Sorry. I shouldn't do that. She loves him. She does. And Serizawa watches Godzilla for another moment, and then he sets off the device. Now, right there, that should be a hit and a half for your ass, and he's probably not going to be going up that fast. And he's probably going to, by it here and now.
Yeah.
And to add to that, he pulls a knife, a switchblade knife, and cuts his line. And he tells Ogata, well, but right before he cuts his line, he tells Ogata, take care of Emiko for me. So what he doesn't realize is it's an oxygen destroyer, and it might destroy the boat too. Did anybody think of that?
No, apparently not.
How is it on the hull of ships? And this experiment showed that a ship could survive that. It's just animal. It's just animals that don't survive the oxygen destroyer. So yeah, you can see the bubbling up next to the ship there. And he's like, "Hey, it's working great." Oh, that's right, I cut my line. But he does say that. He says, "Oh, the oxygen destroyer is working great. It's working." I can't remember if he says that before he cuts his line or after. Maybe it's before, because it looks like Ogata is still talking to him. So yeah, they pull up the line. The line is finally cut. It's actually Yamada that pulls up the line, and Yamane is upset. Dr. Yamane, he's lost a good friend. He respected Sarazawa. And Ogata says to her, the last thing he said was, take care of Himiko. That would be a cool t-shirt right there. If you know who these two lovers are, you can be my friend. And then the Godzilla puppet shows, I'm dying.
Oh, what a world, what a world.
And he goes down and he lights on the floor of the ocean, and you see him disintegrate to bones. Okay. There it is. So now he disintegrates to nothing. Okay. Next. See, I'm not making this shit up. God damn it, I said it again. I'm supposed to try to keep this show clean. Anyway, so I point this out because in a later movie, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, which I think was in 2002, they find Godzilla's bones. So it must have been another Godzilla. I'm guessing maybe there's more than one. We've established that. So they find Godzilla's bones and they use it to make Kiryu the latest, or that incarnation of Mechagodzilla. And that causes problems because when Godzilla roars, Kiryu's bones, the bones of Godzilla, make him go out of control. Anyway, there is a toy that just came out. Can you see that? There's a toy of Godzilla's bones with the oxygen destroyer next to it. Now that says that the bones didn't disintegrate. And that's kind of like, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen's charred remains figures. Why put those out? I mean, come seriously. From Star Wars. So, but here's how much people care. The damn thing's out of stock already. They bought Godzilla's bones. They bought them out of stock. So the fans are like, we don't care about continuity. We want Godzilla's bones, damn it. So there it is. I just thought I'd point that out. I thought that was really weird that they would use Godzilla's bones after they clearly disintegrated them in the first film. Yeah. Anyway. And again, the toy has the oxygen destroyer with it. So it's like, hey, well, who cares about what happened at the end of the film? Yeah, here's his bones. You can buy them for $19.99. So all right. So at the end of the film, there's a nice little thing where they're all tearing and pulling their hats off, and it's Sarazawa's a hero. Oh my gosh, we lost a hero. And again, Sarazawa did the right thing, and he knew that if he had stayed alive, they would probably take his secret from him, and it would cause mass destruction. He didn't know that in 1995, it would create another monster called the Destroyer. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. That's a later episode, and that's the end. So, audience, what do you think of the original Japanese version of Gojira and Anastasia?
This Dennis said, I heard Michael Jackson bought them when he bought Elephant Man's bones. Yes, of course. That is it. Of course.
Yeah, he's got them at Neverland somewhere.
I also love this comment earlier when he said that's when a Karen Godzilla comes out and says you can't record them. That's brilliant. Topical humor. I love
Maybe
it.
it was a female Godzilla.
Beautiful.
There is a son of Godzilla in a later movie, so there had to be a female Godzilla somewhere down the line. So maybe that one was it. Because in the next movie, we get another Godzilla. So, who clearly was not killed by the oxygen destroyer. So, and that'll be the next show that we do, which will be Godzilla Raids Again, where he fights Anguirus.
An instant classic, Dennis says. Yes, thank you so much for supporting and for everybody being here on the premiere and for a lot of support saying that you want to come back. I think it is a success that next Tuesday at 7 p.m. we will be coming back.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope we'll be ready with Godzilla Raids Again. Not as good, not near as good as Godzilla the first one, but it made money, because everybody was so hyped up by this first one. They loved this first one. It broke records all around. They made good money on that second one, even though the story-wise it was not as good.
And Dennis asked serious question: how many Godzillas have there been?
That's a good question. I think there are 30 films now with Godzilla. But there's a lot of other kaiju films like Rodan, Mothra, that don't have Godzilla. So they did a lot of movies. The War of the Gargantuas, King Kong Escapes, Frankenstein Conquers the World. There's a lot of Tragon. We'll be doing that one soon. There's a lot of kaiju movies from Toho that didn't have Godzilla in them. So we've got a lot to cover. So again, there are like 30 Godzilla films now, including the American versions. So he's been going since 1954. That's when this one was put out. So thank you guys for joining me here on my very first episode of Roland Pruitt's Kaiju Review. Thank you, Dr. Wallnutt, for your input. Thank you, Anastasia, for what you added to the show, even though you kind of took it into the Friends territory.
But the fans love it, everybody loves Joey. So I do think that we have Godzilla version of Friends in future. If we have producer who's watching this and wants to make it, it would be amazing, I think.
Anastasia, when she came to me and talked to me online, she told me she was from Transylvania.
Yes.
And I thought that was just damn cool. So
it's very cool because also
she's a producer. She does these shows. So
I do this, but also I am related to Vlad the Impaler, which is like original Dracula, and family is from Transylvania. So how cool is that? So thank you. But then we connected. Cool. And then we connected on other things. Roland does art, and I also appreciate art like many people, Slavic people. We love the art, and Roland is very brilliant. And then we have the brainy professor. So it's a very sophisticated show, no?
The prof is from England. If you quick, you tell us a little bit about yourself.
About my show?
Well, just tell us about yourself, Dr. Wallnutt.
Oh, about myself. Oh, yes. Well, yes, I'm a professor of cryptozoology. I studied at Oxford, at Cambridge, and there was a bit of a controversy, some rather dubious experimentation on my part, and I was asked to leave, and so I came to America, where I now teach at the Miskatonic University at Arkham, Massachusetts. So. And that's my story.
You're better off without them. You're better off.
So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time for Godzilla Raids Again.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.